This meeting is now called to order. Welcome to the Township Council Workshop, Monday, November 18th, 2024. Please all rise for the salute to the flag. Remain standing for a moment of silence out of respect to Mayor Rick Riccadelli. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, please read the statement of public notice.
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. Notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 4th, 2024. A copy of the notice was sent to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk on said date. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the Township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, at this time, please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel.
Present.
Councilmember Murphy.
Present.
Councilmember Hablitz.
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Present.
Council President Scoba.
Present. Mayor Damiano, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This evening we have two proclamations. The first I'm going to do this evening is our Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month proclamation. And it reads, whereas during the month of November, National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month focuses on making the general public aware of the disease among the U.S. population. And whereas Alzheimer's disease, AD, also referred to simply as Alzheimer's, is a chronic neurodegenerative disease that affects approximately 1 in every 2 families in the U.S., with 5.7 million Americans being diagnosed. And whereas Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, a general term for memory loss and other cognitive abilities serious enough to interfere with daily life, worsens over time, accounting for 60 to 80% of dementia cases. And whereas every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's disease, and by 2050, an estimated 14 million Americans will have Alzheimer's disease. And whereas the greatest known risk factor is increasing age, and the majority of people with Alzheimer's are 65 and older. And whereas Alzheimer's is not just a disease of old age, approximately 200,000 Americans under the age of 65 have younger onset Alzheimer's disease, also known as early onset Alzheimer's. And whereas Alzheimer's is the 5th leading cause of death for adults aged 65 and older, and the 7th leading cause of death for all adults. And whereas Alzheimer's has no current cure, but treatments for symptoms are available and research continues. Today, there is a worldwide effort to find better ways to treat the disease, delay its onset, and prevent it from developing. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Township of Little Falls Council, do hereby proclaim November 2024 as Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month in the Township of Little Falls. And the second proclamation that we have this evening is Epilepsy Awareness Month proclamation. And I'm going to ask Valerie, John, and Gianna to join me up here in the front of the room for the reading of this proclamation. And the proclamation reads, whereas epilepsy is a neurological condition characterized by recurrent unprovoked seizures, and whereas epilepsy and seizures affect 3 million people across the United States, including many children and adults in the state of New Jersey diagnosed with recurring seizures. And whereas epilepsy can affect anyone, no matter what their gender, race, age, religion, education background, or socioeconomic status. And whereas epilepsy is the 3rd most common neurological disorder among adults in the United States, behind Alzheimer's disease and stroke. And whereas 10% of the American population will experience a seizure in their lifetime, 3% will develop epilepsy by age 75. And whereas while epilepsy cannot currently be cured, many of those diagnosed with epilepsy can control their seizures with modern medicine and surgical techniques. And whereas people with epilepsy continue to face social stigmatism and discrimination. And whereas National Epilepsy Awareness Month is designed to increase the awareness of the disorder in an effort to encourage more Americans to understand the effects of epilepsy. And now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim November 2024 as Epilepsy Awareness Month in the Township of Little Falls. And I want to thank the Sarcona family for joining us here today. And do you want to say a few words about the foundation? Come on, I know you got to do
Just on behalf of the Epilepsy Foundation, we thank you for acknowledging the foundation and epilepsy awareness. We hope that it helps people to learn more about it and possibly make a donation that would help with fundraising efforts to find a cure.
Thank you for joining us here tonight. We have this proclamation for you. Want to stay here? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
So Mayor, let's move on to discussion of best practices and the affordable housing versus municipalities.
Thank you, Council President. So as far as our best practices inventory goes, our score this year was far in excess of what was needed in order to not lose any state aid that we currently receive. We are in very good shape as far as our best practices go. It is filed in the clerk's office, so anyone looking to review it in full detail can do so. But we are in really good shape as far as best practices go. Well, thank you to all of our staff here in the township who assist and aid this municipality in ensuring that we continue to meet all of our compliance with our best practices. Next is the affordable housing mandates. And I know we've discussed this in the past. It's been something that I've addressed with this council. And in recent times, our new number for our obligation in the next 10 years has recently been released. And our obligation for affordable housing moving forward under the current projections or current requirements is 285 additional units. That is a number that is, in my opinion, simply unattainable by this township. It's unattainable because at a 15% set aside number, which is what we've been seeing most often, the township of Little Falls, and not the township itself, but developers in the township of Little Falls are going to be required for the next 1,900 units to set affordable housing inside of them, which is frankly choking developers, making projects impossible without them being extremely dense with far too many units in order to meet their requirements. And at 285 units, again, 1,900 units would have to be built in this township at a 15% set aside to reach the 285 units. And just to give you an idea, the Singac redevelopment project was a total of 287 units. It was 185 apartments and 102 townhomes. And this council and I are all well aware of some of the comments and some of the concerns that residents have raised about how tall it is, how dense it is, all of those things. We would need to do that 7 more times in order to accomplish the 285 affordable unit obligation that we are being forced to meet. And as this council's aware, there's pending litigation in a class action suit that is growing additional legs. And I would urge this council to consider, I know it's been discussed, or to reconsider joining this loose lawsuit as an actual party to it, rather than just sitting on the sidelines waiting to see if the lawsuit prevails, number one, and if it prevails, if we receive that benefit because we were not actively participating in it. And it's a major concern that I have. One of the fears is that in the event the lawsuit is successful, typically in class action suits, you see everybody who might have been impacted by it benefit from the result. The issue here is if the courts or if the arbitrators or wherever this suit may land, review it, and they only review the municipalities that are included in the suit and say, you're right, you all have too many units, you have a reduction of X% or X number of units or whatever it may be. If you're not in the suit, the concern is that you may be overlooked or you may not be considered for the reduction. And again, not 100% common in class actions, but certainly a realistic possibility and fear of mine, because this 285 number is just, again, unrealistic. And it is going to be requiring developers to cram too many units into too small of a space. And we know we need to find a balance between the amount of development and the size of the development and the density of the development and the amount of green space and the setbacks and all of those other things that we look to accomplish in making developments more attractive. But with this obligation at a number that's unattainable, the only time we will be able to increase our rateable base here in Little Falls is going to be with developments that are frankly far too dense and not good for the township. Again, it's a major concern, and I would really ask that this council consider joining the lawsuit. It is a $10,000 a year number is what the current projection is. Again, that could potentially change, but right now they are suggesting or requiring a $10,000 annual contribution to be included in the lawsuit. A number of the surrounding municipalities, including both of our Passaic Valley sister municipalities, Totowa and Woodland Park, have recently joined the suit. And it is something that I'm encouraging and suggesting that this council consider doing, if not right away, in the very near future.
I'm going to open this up for discussion. Council members, do you have any input on this, on the direction that we should go, if we should join this lawsuit, or that the feelings are that we should stay off of it?
Sure, Council President.
Councilman Murphy?
President Mayor, I agree. I think this is something that we really need to consider joining into. As you mentioned, it's definitely not something that we would want to happen, is that the class action comes forward and we're not a part of these reductions should that happen. So I'm all game for it. And I think that's something that the council, we should definitely consider adding.
Mr. President.
Councilman Vanchery?
Yeah, thanks, Council President. Mayor, I agree with you as well as Councilman Murphy. I've had a chance to talk to some elected officials in other towns that are a part of this lawsuit. And just looking at the numbers that are required and knowing how much we would have to build, that's a huge problem. I mean, we've seen the reaction, like you said, if you build 5 units, what people will react to. Imagine having to build 1,900 right now to hit a requirement. So I am all for getting a part of this lawsuit. I think it's the right thing to do for the township.
Sure. And Council President, if I may add, I believe that Little Falls was very aggressive in prior years in attempting to reach, in really good faith, numbers towards our affordable goal. And the way I view this new number at 285 units is almost a slap in the face to the municipality, because we were so successful in adding so many affordable units in so many zones where it wasn't even considered or contemplated in our prior round, that the state has now looked at how well we've done. And I almost feel as though we are being penalized for having been so successful in adding these units. And it's almost given the impression that, well, Little Falls is doing great, let's set a really high number and hope they continue to strive towards that figure. And again, there was a couple of years ago, I think the kind of the thought process here was that the number was completely unrealistic. Even if the number was cut in half 10 years ago when we first did this, we still weren't going to achieve that goal. And was it really worth fighting as one small town to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars to planners and to experts in trying to have the number reduced? Again, at that point, even if we were successful in cutting the number in half, we were still never going to achieve it in any 10-year period. So the thought was, let's just agree to the number. It's unrealistic, but even if it's cut in half, it's still unrealistic. It doesn't really make a difference. I do think now, because there is enough discussion, and sometimes, shedding light on something brings additional attention to it. And I think that's what this class action is doing. And again, that's why I'm recommending that we certainly join in.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Hablitz?
Yes, so I also agree with the mayor, just hearing what he's saying, and, as far as our tri-town, joining with Totowa, joining with Woodland Park and the others who are on the lawsuit, hopefully the numbers will increase as the lawsuit goes on, other towns, other municipalities joining, and I think it would be the best thing for Little Falls.
Councilwoman Patel?
Uh, Yes, Council President, I agree. I think the fact that there's a major issue with the legislation overall, unless there are numbers of municipalities going up against that legislation, nothing's going to change. I don't think trying to meet this hypothetical number that they just came up with without really taking into consideration the open space that we have, what's already been built. We have no choice. We have to take a stand along with our neighbors.
Okay. So correct, we're only 2.8 square miles. When we look at the situation of this small town, to try to fit all these units in, it would be beyond challenging. So Madam Clerk, let's set this up for the future meetings that we move on, taking part of the lawsuit. Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for general matters and agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Madam Clerk?
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, it may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anyone in the chat that'd like to speak to us this evening? Thank you. Is there anyone in the governing chambers would like to speak to us this evening? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Hablitz, second by Councilwoman Patel. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Mayor, 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President. As we see numerous times throughout the year, the first is somewhat standard, a resolution canceling the 2025 preliminary taxes and refunding 2024 prorated third quarter taxes due to property exemption. And again, we see this oftentimes throughout the year for various reasons, whether it be for veterans, whether it be for religious exemptions, things of the sort. And this is another one of those that is going to be canceling a third quarter tax. Canceling a 2025 preliminary tax and refunding 2024 taxes that have already been paid. Any questions on item number 1? All right, the next is a resolution approving a change order resolution for improvements to Mozart Ave and Cherry Street. And again, as is common from time to time with various construction projects, there are sometimes change orders for them, sometimes for increases, sometimes for decreases. This is no different. And this is a change order to Mozart and Cherry Street, where we just recently completed a complete streets application through substantially funded by CDBG money from Passaic County. Any questions on item number 2? All right, item number 3 is the introduction of ordinance 1505, privately owned salt storage. And where do I begin with this? So the short of it is there's going to be a number of new requirements that I believe we're going to be seeing come in from the state from time to time, requiring various obligations of the municipality moving forward that, of course, none of them will come with any funding, as we oftentimes see. So what does this mean? That means that the township is going to have to, from time to time, adopt ordinances that we may or may not wholeheartedly agree with, but frankly, don't have much of a choice and don't have much of a choice in order to modify them whatsoever either. And this one, we're in pretty good shape. This has to do with de-icing materials, salt, brine, various things such as that, and the storage of them, and our obligations in order to not allow all of this salt to essentially run into waterways. And this is the first of what I believe will be many obligations from the state that we will need to comply with as a municipality to simply meet the state's obligation. So that is what the ordinance 1505 has to do with. It has to do with the storage of our salt and salt-related materials on township property. We are complying with them. We have been, but again, I think we'll see more where they just make them absolute requirements rather than recommendations and suggestions. Any questions on item number 3?
Thank you, Mayor. Can I have a motion to approve resolutions A through C? Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Vattel. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the following applications and correspondence?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Hablitz,
Second.
second by Councilman Murphy. This is a roll call. Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Madam Clerk, read ordinance 1505, please.
Introduction of ordinance number 1505, an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending chapter 218, Stormwater Management of the Code of the Township of Little Falls with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for December 9th, 2024.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1505?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Patel, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havletts,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. I apologize, but Mayor, would you like to discuss, give a tribute to the former Mayor Rick Riccadelli, please?
Yes, thank you, Council President. So I have had the pleasure of knowing Rick Riccadelli personally for more than 20 years, but fairly well for the last 20 years. He was actually, he had his real estate license through my father's office, and I would oftentimes go there once a week for lunch and have lunch with Rick and spent a lot of time with him, talking to him about the township, talking about everything under the sun. And he was truly a genuine, outstanding human being. And his loss is severely, is a major loss to the township. And that, 68 years old, certainly far too soon to lose anyone. But during Rick's tenure here in Little Falls, he spent a lot of time, well, not in these council chambers, but in the old buildings council chambers in wearing many, many hats. Now, he started on the township committee in 1996, where he was there until 2001, and served as mayor in 1998. He was the police commissioner from 1998 to 1999, the deputy police commissioner from 2000 to 2001, the deputy recreation commissioner in 1997, 1998, and 1999, the deputy fire commissioner in 2000 and 2001, as well as the deputy water commissioner in those same years. He was also the deputy DPW commissioner in 2001, the emergency management council in 2001. He served on our grant committee from 2000 to 2001, and he was on the real estate committee from 1998 to 1999. So he wore a lot of hats during his time here in Little Falls, one of them being mayor. And I can tell you, he had nothing but fond memories every time we would talk to him about his tenure here as mayor. And again, he will certainly be a loss to this township. He truly loved the township of Little Falls, although he hasn't been residing here the past number of years. He always wore a Little Falls on his sleeve proudly. So he's certainly a loss to this community, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends at this time.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on to council members' reports. I'm happy to announce we have 3 new hometown banners that will unfortunately not be going up because the DBW will be taking down the banners to get more longevity off of them. But next year, these banners will go up. And one is Stella Falcones. She's in active duty. She's in the U.S. Air Force. Ray Martin, who is U.S. Navy, and also John Joseph McNamara. He was a chief radio operator, U.S. Navy. There's going to be a senior holiday luncheon on 12/18. You could contact Mr. Pace or contact the municipal office if you would like to attend that. Councilwoman Hablitz?
Sure. Thank you, Council President. Some library updates. The library has the honor of a wonderful display this month. Its exhibit is the Private Hollywood Collection of Abe Vigoda. It's the first time it's ever been displayed anywhere, and it features many pictures of him from Barney Miller, the original script from The Godfather. It really is a very amazing display. So you can stop by the library anytime this month until November 30th to see it. This Thursday, the library will also have an author reading by John Demore for his book Dead Fellas. There is so much more going on at the library, and you can keep up to date by going on their website or following their social media pages. That would make Jeffrey very happy. Also, back again this year is our Light Up Little Falls House Decorating Contest. The holiday season is upon us, and pre-registration is required through Community Pass. Your house will be included on an interactive map with the participating homes, and voting will take place for first, second, and third prize on December 18th. Lastly, I'd like to thank the mayor for his proclamation tonight for epilepsy, and thank the Little Falls Girl Scouts. This Saturday, they painted seashells with QR codes that has information about epilepsy, and they placed them all around Wilmar Park. So stop by the park, you can scan the QR codes and find out more about epilepsy and also about fundraising. Thank you, that's it.
Is there any movement on our calendar? Do we know anything?
Yes, we are in the process of the calendar. Myself and the Recreation Department and Councilman Murphy met today. We are also thinking of implementing an app, a My Little Falls app, but the final decision was not made yet today, and we will keep you up to date on that.
Do Councilwoman Patel?
Thank you, Council President. Just want to send out my condolences to Rick's family, especially his son. Like James said, he was full of so much joy and laughter. He was always a pleasure to be around. And he's definitely going to be missed. A few updates for the Public Health Committee. There's a lung cancer assessment tomorrow, the 19th, from 10 to 12 at the Clifton Health Department. Registration is required, so you'd have to call Lael tomorrow morning at 973-470-5760. And then on Wednesday, December 11th at 10:30, there's going to be an Understanding the Importance of Breast Cancer Screening seminar here in Little Falls at the Civic Center. Registration is also required for this, so you can contact Kimberly Finkler at 973-986-8678. Again, all of these flyers are always on the township calendar with all the contact information, or you could contact me. And then finally, we continue to put up weekly vector-borne surveillance reports and respiratory illness surveillance reports on the township website, along with our monthly update from the Clifton Health Department. That's all, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Murphy.
Thank you, Council President. I'd just like to echo the words of my other council members and the mayor and express my deepest condolences to Mayor Rick, on the passing of Mayor Riccardelli. I had the pleasure of knowing Mayor Riccardelli, and but even I didn't know the extent of how many hats he wore in this town. And I got in the chambers today. I saw the every role that he had, and I'm not sure how much time he had from 2000 to 2001, but he sure was busy with the township. But it just goes to show, to testament on how much he really did love our township and how much he's truly going to be missed. So just want to express my condolences to him and his family. Another level, just want to comment on the calendar. We are still having some discussions on it, but we are still taking ads. So we think we have about 11 or 10 ads that we received so far, but there's about 6 spots still left. So if anybody is interested in taking an ad for the calendar, just reach out to the rec department, to Tyler Pissarro. This way he can get you in, because we do have some spots still left that we would like to fill. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Murphy. Councilman Vanchery?
Thanks, Council President. I also too want to echo my sympathies to the Mayor Riccardelli and his, his family and his passing. As the mayor said, he wore a lot of hats, and people who knew him were very appreciative of all the work that he did. So again, my condolences to his family. Just a couple updates too. I want to thank the Sarcona family for coming tonight. They had reached out about the proclamation for epilepsy awareness. And if you didn't notice, outside the lights are actually purple. and on our Epilepsy Awareness Month, as well as Alzheimer's Awareness Month. They both use the purple color. And then what the Sarconas did, along with some friends, they actually put some Epilepsy Awareness Month information along the telephone poles around town. So you'll see that. And as Councilwoman Hablitz mentioned over the weekend, the Girl Scouts got together, especially with Gianna, who was here tonight, to do the seashell. So it's pretty cool if you get a chance to check that out. Just a couple other updates too. If you didn't know, not this coming Saturday, the following Saturday is the Town Holiday Parade. I think everybody's excited for that. So make sure you mark off your spot along Main Street. It starts at 5 p.m. And I know the rec department's going to be reminding the businesses too to make sure they're open. So you need a hot cup of coffee or pizza or something else. But it's definitely a great event. Last year we were treated to the first time where Little Falls was a part of it. And I know a lot more people are excited about it this year because they got to see what it's like. So looking forward to that. Again, it's next Saturday at 5 o'clock starting at PV High School. Also too, last week, Mr. Quattrone and I had connected because we had reached out to the county about a month ago and had asked about our application to potentially changing the speed limit on several of the county roads from 35 to 25. We didn't hear anything, so I reached out to the engineer to ask for an update, and he said the application was with the traffic division. And then earlier today, we learned that the engineer is going to do a physical inspection of the roads that are up for discussion, and hopefully we'll have a decision shortly from the engineer to move ahead. As I've mentioned before, if we get the green light from the county engineer to pursue the change, the next step would be for us to come back and draft and pass an ordinance to change the speed from 35 to 25 on Main Street in Longville, as well as Ridge and Stevens Avenue. Once that is accepted and approved, we would then share our approved ordinance with the county, and the commissioners would do the same thing. And once they pass that, we can then look to move the change ahead. So more to come on that, but at least now we have an update and we know it's under review. So hopefully this week or next week, we'll get an update on that. The other thing too, I wanted to mention was I'm waiting for the County Roads Division too to get back to us. Usually around this time of the year, the county will come out and retouch many of their roads, especially the double yellow lines. I'm trying to get an update from Ken Simpson in terms of when they're planning to come out. Usually it's around this week or the following week after Thanksgiving. So hopefully we'll find out soon if they are going to come and retouch up many of the county roads, especially too, because a lot of the crosswalks were just redone about a month ago by the DPW department. Lastly, I do want to say thank you to Commissioner Sandy Lazara. About a month ago, a resident had reached out along with several others that had some concerns regarding the corner of Van Pelt and Main Street when it comes to the bus stop for many of the kids that go to Passaic County Tech. They were having some issues trying to cross the street in the morning, especially because there was about 10 kids that were waiting for the bus to go on its way to PCTI. So I reached out to Commissioner Lazar and asked if she could look into this, and she moved quick. She worked with the engineers and traffic division, and they actually put in a crosswalk over on Van Pelt and Main for the students. And I can tell you the parents were very delighted to that. So just grateful for Commissioner Lazar's support. And like I said before, whenever we have an issue, we try to reach out to the county. And I do want to mention too, we had a resident here last meeting talking about some issues on Route 46 and the noise that he's getting from when certain trucks come by. We did reach out to Senator Corrado as well as Commissioner Bartlett, and based on their efforts making phone calls, it looks like it's going to be reviewed by the DOT. So hopefully we'll have an update soon, but a little progress. Again, that's where reaching out to some of our elected officials to see if they can help. So thank you for that. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councilman Vanchery. Chief?
Great, thanks, Council President. December 3rd, AAA Northeast will be awarding Little Falls another traffic safety award for 2023. So I'm happy to report to this council that our increased traffic enforcement efforts are being recognized by AAA. This will be the second award that I'm able to present to the council, so I'm excited for that. Councilman Venturi will be recognized at the same luncheon if he didn't already get his email. We did submit him for a Traffic Safety Hero Award for his, good work and assistance with the police department and moving a lot of our initiatives forward. And really that's, he will be receiving the award, but that's really for the mayor and the entire council. We want to thank everybody for your continued support. I know we haven't had a meeting in a while. We did have our on-site accreditation inspection. I'm happy to report preliminarily at this point that the visit was good. We're going to have a hearing in the spring, but I'm expecting to be reaccredited as a police department and recognized through the New Jersey State Chiefs of Police Association. Just to give you a little bit of background, I know I briefed this at the council meeting, but this is our second reaccreditation. So in 2018, we received our initial accreditation, and it was good for 3 years. We got reaccredited in 2021, and then 3 years later, here we are in 2024. So the Little Falls Police Department is still operating under the best practices and recommendations of the State Chiefs Association. And then after I have the hearing, the state chiefs will be here to present that to the council. And we should all be proud that we have an accredited police department.
Thank you,
all.
Chief.
Yep.
We're very proud of the hard work you do for the police department, and it's recognized by everyone who sits up at the dais. You did have the council and the mayor come in for, I would say, a seminar, talk about what you were doing. Are you going to be doing that again sometime soon?
If you'd like to, we can do another one in the winter.
Okay,
We'll put that on.
Right.
Everybody.
that'd be fine. Yep. Have a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only. Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Havelitz. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you. Anyone in the chat that'd like to come before us? I don't see any. Anyone in our council chambers like to come before us? No. Have a motion to close the public comment.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Patel, second by Councilman Vanchery. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I want to thank staff for working with me in putting this agenda together. I appreciate your experience and your time working with me to put this particular meeting together. I know we had some quite a lot of back and forth, so thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Vanchery. Who was the
Second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Patel. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is now closed.